Hello. Hi. Hafsa, say hi.
Hi again.
Introduce yourself. Who are you? कौन हो तुम?
Hi guys, I
Why
am
are you here?
Hafsa. I am Hafsa. I am at वो feminist type on Twitter and हम यहाँ fairy tale के बारे में बातें करने आए हैं. As if our timelines were not enough, we are now here on a
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. I just want people to know. Hi, I'm Eman. Blue Magic Boxes on Twitter. I just want people to know we've already done this twice. This
Twice
podcast.
for
We've been talking
2
for the past 4 hours. And we're going to do the same thing again. And there was a moment where we lost our recording and I told Hafsa, we don't have to do this, it's fine. And Hafsa was like, I can go for another 2 hours.
because you were like, I would do it, but you probably have a life, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
not really.
So both of us realized we don't have lives.
So we're here again. Hi for
Yeah.
the third time.
What does that say about you? You're watching a video of two people who have no lives. But
Clearly,
if you liked Fairytale, stick around. We have important thoughts about it. So many important
so
thoughts. A
many
lot of it would
opinions.
be
So
fangirling.
many opinions.
A lot of it would be fangirling, but there will be intelligent thought in how we talk about the show, I promise.
Eventually.
So, Hafsa, how are things with you?
We
Let's begin from the beginning. Why do you
we
like
we start
Fairytale?
with why do we like fairy tale? Acha, I'm going to do this with like less hyper pehle probably because I have done this hyping twice. But like acha, for me, the first time I love actually I should start with where I first saw fairy tale. I saw fairy tale on like as a tweet on your timeline. And I was like, what is this cute show where like these people are arguing and they sound like me? And I was like, because I've done this, like I have argued and been like, मैं क्या करूँ ना मेरे से नहीं रुको जाता ना मुझे अब बात करनी थी ज़्यादा. And it was the same dialogue. I was like, it's me. I want to know more. And then I started the show and I live tweeted it like a normal person does. ठीक है.
With pictures
And
and
the
everything. I
first
was so proud of you.
with pictures. By the way, I am a veteran at this. Okay, when I was part of anime Twitter, and I used to
Mhm.
like react to weekly episodes with like screenshots and everything, and like all of the like breakdowns and everything. This is like
Hmm.
so fun for me to like do this thing again. But like I was like I watched the first episode, and like as soon as like Seher Khan came on screen as Umeed, I was like I I love her. Like I loved her and I loved how she lit up the screen. I know a lot of people were saying that she's annoying like at first, but I loved it because this says a lot about me as well. Because I was like, does this mean people find me annoying? Because this girl is me. Like literally she is my personality. And like hyped up like a bit cranked up to like 10 if I'm like an 8. But
Yeah.
like it was amazing. And like, we talked about like how she becomes like cute to rootable, like super rootable as soon as the Rishta part starts.
Oh, yeah.
I should
Second episode.
talk about. Yeah.
I think,
Any girl with Rishta struggles and her trying to run away from Rishta struggles is a
yeah.
rootable person. Like you can't change my mind.
Also, if you're a brown woman and this isn't rootable enough for you, what kind of privileged life have you been living?
Yeah,
But
but I thought this as well. I was like, if you have never experienced this, like I want your life. Like both the privileged life है भाई वही मुझे तो सुनते हैं because there was no way out, right? And I made this tweet, by the way. You told me to tweet this because I said this in a group chat. So like 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 people will like whine about Umeed actually making steps to change her future, and then and not ending up in therapy at 25. And this was a sad dig, by the way. This was a sad dig. Like I ended up in therapy at 25 because
everyone does.
I couldn't like challenge my surroundings the same way she did, and so
Yeah,
just grew up with a lot of
every woman
resentment.
does. Every brown woman does end up in therapy at 25 because
I thought,
we're too busy being a higher in our 20s. But anyway,
which is why I love my baby Haya too.
I love Haya. I was Haya. Anyway, I mean, I didn't end up in like a master's program being higher required me to become you. But like,
Exactly, right? Like, we're all higher till we realize we have to be Umid.
yeah. So I love how I'm going to start talking about this as if this is the first time we will have this conversation. But what really works in the show, what really works in the show, Hafsa, that you don't know, that I told you like
I
few hours
was
ago.
like reacting to this all the first time.
What really works in the show is how, and it doesn't get enough credit, honestly, because like people pretend, even when people like the show, they like to think it's because the main leads have good chemistry. And that's not true.
Which they do, but that's not
Which,
like why
which
it
they do,
does.
which they obviously do. But that's not true. That's not why you like the show, because main leads have good chemistry in a lot of shows that I
Yeah.
don't like. You know, there is a show going on right now running purely on the
On
chemistry.
chemistry. Raw chemistry alone is carrying
Just
that
raw
show.
chemistry. There's a show that's currently running on just raw chemistry. I don't like it. But
Honestly, is that really chemistry or just like
yeah, pata nahi.
un
We can't go into that right now. What that show is running on. It's running on something. I like
we
to
have
think
an
it's
hour
chemistry.
of recording of just that too, by the
Yeah,
way.
we have an hour recording of just ranting all that one. But the reason the show works is because it's quote unquote fresh. And it's not fresh because they cast two young actors in it.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, whoever decided to cast Seher and Hamza together, give them a pay raise. You know,
honestly.
I hope
Yeah.
they're a casting director as like a profession because they're very good at it. Or this
It's a
was
very
free.
new pairing, by the way. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not.
I couldn't even have imagined this, but like credit to them.
And
I
it's
also
interesting
think
that they
Hamza's
chose to do this in a new show, right? Like, it's a new show with a new kind of thing, and they still chose to step out of their comfort zone.
yeah, yeah. So I think it only works because they chose to step out of that. Like, I mean, if you would have given me the show with two people I've been seeing since forever, I might not have felt the same thing. Like they feel like Umeed and Farjad
Yeah.
because you haven't seen them in a very memorable role. And not to say they weren't good actors prior to it,
Yeah.
but there hasn't been a role that has taken off in pop culture as like this
Yeah.
is them, you know. So it works. They come in fresh. They don't have like the imprint of another role on them when they come
Yeah.
in the show. But why this also, and then of course they have like good chemistry and like they look good together. All of that's great.
Yeah.
But what's also fun about the show is that the supporting cast is young. They are
Yeah.
new. You've never
Yeah.
seen Mimi before. Aina Khan is new.
Yes. Yeah.
Adnan Razamir is new. You know, like Tehseen, what's his name, who plays Chachu. He isn't like a very familiar face on TV.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I
he
think
does very
I think they even said in the BTS that he left acting for a while and he's just
yeah,
like coming back again.
yeah, yeah. So क्या कहते हैं? So all of these are like it's not like, other than Salma Hassan, I feel who we've seen in this role,
Yeah.
and that too is because we're seeing her
Yeah.
right now in this role in Mujhe Pyar Hua.
Yeah, she's pretty new as well, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like if you think of Salma Hassan in like that other drama, Pyar Ke Sabke,
Yeah.
in which she was a very loving mother, you know,
Yeah.
it's because we're seeing her in a similar role right now.
Yeah.
Everyone else feels relatively fresh. Like
Yes.
even actors who've
Definitely.
acted a lot before, they seem like they aren't on your screen constantly,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's fresh. Um, the production of it is very fresh.
Mm.
You know, like first episode, they end up on Kidney Hill. Now you can sit
Yeah.
here and argue that वहाँ कोई नहीं जाता, which is true, वहाँ कोई नहीं जाता. लेकिन
But that's
लेकिन
also the
you
point,
know,
right?
yeah, I
Like,
don't think
it's
Hollywood के
insane.
बैनर पे Hollywood के उस पे कोई जाता है.
Yeah.
Like you know, that's not a very comfortable place to be at. But like you know, you see that place in every rom-com as if this is the hottest like dating spot in LA. So like you know, of course you take those creative liberties, but you see
Yeah.
Kidney Hill, right? I know what
Yeah.
Kidney Hill looks like. Like this feels like Karachi. This is a story that's taking place in Karachi. It could not have taken place anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, this like I know what Kidney Hill looks like. My relative lives in Kidney Hill. You
Yeah.
know, so when Farjad drops Umeed home, I know where he is. You know, that sounds insane when you say it out loud, but these are things people just take for granted in other parts of the world.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure. And
Like,
it speaks to you in a way that's like
yeah,
very special.
yeah, it feels real. It feels real, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It feels
this is
like this could be me, this could be my life, this could be something I experience.
this is love happening in my context.
Exactly, exactly.
You
And
know?
that is just something very, I will never like stop like emphasizing on this. There is something so supremely special about that. Like, I didn't even
Yes.
understand what I was missing until this
Yeah.
point.
Until this happened.
Like,
You
and I
just have
never
family
understood the whole representation, like, वो thing as well. अब मुझे
until
समझ
this
आती
happened.
है.
Yeah.
Like, I
Now
don't
you
know.
get. Like
It's
now you get.
special. Yeah.
Yeah. So we used to have this thing back in the day where the city was a big part of the story.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then it kind of just became like these are sets. Everything is happening
Yeah.
in this one house.
Even पता है, even in like कुछ अनकही, as much as I love it, like it's very set oriented. आपके वही दो तीन
Yeah, my
जगह.
my my thing with Kuch Ankahi though is that like that house feels very lived in.
Yeah,
Like I give Kuch Ankahi credit for that. It doesn't look like they're
definitely.
shooting in a house. It looks like they live in
हाँ,
this
for
house.
sure. Like it's very like placed in the house, and the house has a meaning. And I know
Mm-hmm.
people had, by the way, people had the same issue with कुछ अनकही as well, कि ओ इतने बड़े घर में क्यों रह रहे हैं अगर उनके पास इतने पैसे नहीं
Let's
है.
address this for a second.
ये हॉलीवुड नहीं है, ये वेस्ट नहीं है भाई. यहाँ लोग बड़े घरों में रहते हैं, उनके बाप दादा ने घर बनाए हुए होते हैं और ये पास डाउन हो रहे होते हैं. दैट इज हाउ इट गोज. जनरेशनल हाउसेज आर अ थिंग. ठीक है, माई नाना नानी, माई दादा
I don't
दादी
know
लिव्ड
why
इन हाउसेज.
I don't know why everyone on Twitter was pretending as if the moment you hit 18 you will move out of the house and then you build
हाँ.
your own.
हाँ.
नहीं होता है ऐसा.
नहीं होता.
There are people who live in these houses. They are big कोठियाँ. घर में
और वो 50-50
सिर्फ
60
5
साल से
ये
बनी हुई होती हैं, और वो
yeah
50-60 साल से बनी हुई होती हैं.
yeah
एंड इफ
like
समवन रिटायर्स और एनीथिंग हैपेंस, दे मूव बैक एज वेल.
in this though like in fairy tale though they make a point to tell you that
हाँ.
they had enough money to send their son to Canada which is where
या.
they lost money.
या.
सारे
Like
पैसे
पहले
उन्होंने
पैसे
खा
थे.
लिए.
And that house as well, like I'm pretty sure Agunan at one point says कि आप दादा जो थे
दादाजी
वो
की शादी
शादी
मुफ्त में
करके
आई.
मुझे इस घर में ले आए थे. ये दादा का घर है भाई.
Yeah.
Like this is all very normal. बड़े इस तरह
Yeah,
के
like I
घर
don't know
वगैरह
why
आपको
people
मिलते
pretend
हैं.
as if like like there are not generational houses people are living in that are
यार
pretty big.
वही ना, ये वही बात है कि like sometimes we need to stop importing things from a western context and
Yeah,
putting them on
yeah.
local stuff. हमारा culture like same नहीं है. We don't have the same sort of things happening. The
I think
cliches aren't
people need
cliches
to
if they
realize
don't happen here.
the reason the reason you say that people in DHA are rich for owning houses is because houses in DHA are recent. You
Yes,
need to have had
exactly.
money recently to own those houses.
Exactly,
They were
exactly.
sold at marked up prices.
Yeah,
When people came to Karachi, there was a lot of land
yeah,
that you could have bought. Like there were houses that could have been bought not super cheaply, but
yeah,
could have been bought
yeah.
and like you could have lived there for generations. And now now those houses will be like 15 crore रुपए के घर.
Also बहुत
जब खरीदे थे 15 करोड़ के नहीं थे वो.
also बहुत लोग ऐसे भी थे जिन्होंने जब घर खरीदा उन्होंने कहा कि हमने पूरी जिंदगी पैसे जमा किए घर खरीदने के लिए, और उन्होंने एक पॉइंट पे अपने सारे पैसे घर पे लगा दिए. ये भी होता है.
Yeah, a lot of people are also living on like you know पार्ट ओनरशिप. लाइक मतलब यहाँ पे
Yeah,
जो लोग रहते थे पार्टीशन के टाइम वो चले गए, किसी को कोई छोटी मोटी रेंट जा रही है. यू हैव लाइक पार्ट
exactly.
ओनरशिप. देयर आर वेरी डिफरेंट वेज टू ओन द हाउस इन पाकिस्तान. लाइक दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन के ओ जी मतलब घर तो इनका इतना बड़ा है, प्रिटेंड कैसे करते हैं जैसे ये बहुत करीब है. वो किसी डीएचए के घर में नहीं रह रहे थे.
Also वो ये भी प्रिटेंड नहीं करते कि वो बहुत करीब है और anything.
या
It's just
वो बस
उम्मीद wants
वापस
more.
जाती है.
उम्मीद
या
wants Mimi's house.
या या एग्जैक्टली. एंड दे शो अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन
बहुत
नीड्स ऑफ.
difference है. Like when they show Mimi's house, that is a DHA house, by the way.
या
Like that
या
is a very clearly DHA house, right? That's the kind of place where you're like, okay, this is a. And they even mention it, right? वो जो like वो बंदा आता है मीटिंग के लिए and he's like आपका घर बहुत खूबसूरत है, right?
हाँ.
They show कि ये बहुत lavish घर है भाई. ये है बहुत fancy सा lavish सा घर.
Having said that, it's also like it's Kidney Hill. These characters dress age appropriately.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
as much as I love Myra Khan's wardrobe in Humsafar,
Yeah.
that is not how a 20-something-year-old dresses, man.
Not
You know,
just that, not just that. It's
even
also
if you
like,
dress as a newlywed bride, but even prior to that,
but even then, like she is very, very put together.
no, not just very
And
very put together. Like even if you look at like क्या नाम होता है दूसरी वाली का सारा
Sarah, yeah,
सारा होती है ना.
Sarah.
She is dressed in that quintessential like ये vamp है. Like she wears jeans and tops and like
Yeah,
she
yeah,
doesn't
it's
look like
like,
a 20-year-old.
and that is, by the way, what I was saying. Dressing by trope.
Yeah,
Like, they have characters dressed by tropes, and the
yeah.
same thing happens in Zindagi Guzara as well. By the way,
Hmm.
लाइक एक तरफ आपकी बिल्कुल ही शलवार कमीज के अलावा बिल्कुल उस तरह का शलवार कमीज, एंड देन वी हैव लाइक मैंने टाइट जीन्स और टाइट शर्ट्स के अलावा कुछ भी नहीं पहनना, लाइक इट्स इन माय वार्डरोब डजंट हैव दैट.
सलवार कमीज में भी for some reason they think if you are poor you can't style your clothes.
या हाँ.
Okay then. You don't have to dress from like Sanaf Safina. You can
लेकिन
wear
उसके
something
लिए
from like
उन्होंने, द थिंग इज, एज मच एज आई लव कश्यप एंड आई डू राइट, आई लव
yeah,
कश्यप, उन्होंने थोड़ा उसे पिक मी वाला सॉर्ट ऑफ भी देना था ना, कि
yeah,
लड़कियां जिस तरह की लड़कियां होती है वो मेकअप करती हैं और
yeah,
ज्वेलरी पहनती हैं, मैं तो सिर्फ पढ़ाई के लिए आई हूँ इस दुनिया में, राइट, लाइक वो उन्होंने थोड़ा करना होता है, बिकॉज गॉड फॉरबिड वुमेन हैव लाइक मल्टी फेसेटेड
yeah.
पर्सनालिटीज.
Characters in this show dressed according to their personality, not according to
Yes,
tropes.
yes, exactly.
That is also why this show feels fresh.
Yeah.
You see that when their character takes an arc, their
Hmm.
clothes take an arc with them.
Exactly.
Umeed settles into her style as the show goes forward.
Yeah.
You know, Farjad becomes more relaxed as the show goes forward. Like his
Also,
clothes become chiller.
and they sort of meet at a middle ground, right? Like he starts off as super stiff, super wo, and then she
Yeah,
starts off as like very young, very like okay, this is all I can do kind of thing.
not
And then
love
she gets
wali.
money. Yeah, she gets money, and then she starts dressing like someone like Rina or like Farzad's mom would. Okay, with the
Mm-hmm.
big shades and the straight hair and the coats and everything.
Yeah,
And then like eventually it like settles down into like,
into
okay, this is my
Umeed's
style.
style.
Like it's
Yeah.
pretty, it's stylish, it's very Umeed. It's not boring either, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And Farzad also settles down into a not too casual, but like I could go out. I could go on a date in this.
It's so funny because that it's the same clothes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
When Farjad comes into her house for the first time, and when you show Farjad come into her house for the last time in the show,
yeah,
he's wearing the same coat. I don't
yeah.
think this was done intentionally. He's wearing the same coat. It's a
Huh.
very different look.
It's a very different look. Huh.
Yeah, you
And
know,
it's a very different vibe. I think it's also the way they carry it, right?
it's
Like
the way they carry themselves, but
the
it's also
actors are very conscious of what they're doing at all
yeah,
times. And honestly, I love it. I don't know if it's like a natural kind of
yeah, like
affinity they have for the characters, but it's done so well.
yeah, like Umeed and Haya dress as 20-year-olds, but they dress
Yeah.
as Umeed and Haya.
Yeah.
You will
Definitely.
never see Haya wear some other than their hoodies, which is
Yeah.
just a hoodie.
Also,
You
by
will
the way, the hoodies are matching, so I can imagine like कुछ सेल वेल लगी हुई थी और उन्होंने
yeah,
इकट्ठे खरीद ली.
yeah. Like you can never see Haya wear the kind of clothes Umeed wears. You don't see Umeed wear the kind of clothes Haya wears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Haya ke kapde are very simple lawn ke, like pastel shades, lighter colors,
Mm.
much more muted because that's Haya's personality.
Mm.
Umeed laubali hai. Umeed's colors pops. Like she wears like her neon oranges. She wears her
And
lime
Umeed's
greens.
dressing is very deliberate. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
earrings match the, even when
The
like she isn't
pastel,
rich yet, the earrings
pastel
will
nail
match
polish, the
exactly.
pastel nail polish, the ring.
The bracelets, the rings, like everything's very
Yeah,
deliberate. Like this girl is thinking about it. Or
yeah.
Hayaz, like it's a I woke up like this, actual I woke up like
Hmm.
this moment
Hmm.
where she's
Like the tall
gorgeous,
hair bag in a bun
but
and
like
like
but like yeah, like उसके बाल उस तरह खुले हुए नहीं होंगे. She's very like सिमटी हुई, जिसे नहीं कहते like
Haya is
जिस
almost
तरह.
effortlessly beautiful.
Yes,
She's
Haya is supposed,
effortlessly beautiful.
and like
Very
she's
graceful.
shown to be like the good daughter that you like every family kind of wants, and she dresses like it and she
Yeah.
acts like it, and it's all effortless to her.
Yeah, and you will notice that if you actually go look at Aina Khan's Instagram account,
Yeah,
because that girl knows how to dress.
yeah, yeah.
She has a very distinct style,
The
you know.
two.
But Haya has a very distinct style.
And I love that, like honestly, like props to Aina Khan as well. I think she honestly deserves like so much credit. she played Haya flawlessly. Like the
Yeah.
way she slipped into that character
But
and
bro,
became,
she
and
has,
I
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like I was almost a little like taken aback that this is not the same person on Instagram account. I was like,
हाँ,
कुछ
like,
भी नहीं है.
and मेरे से वो नहीं हो रहा था, and that's amazing. That's a
Yeah.
great thing. Like I
Full credit
loved
to her.
it.
Her Instagram account is
हाँ,
great, but like she slipped so easily into this role
हाँ.
that at
And
no
like
point
I
did you
was,
think she was not Haya.
मैंने पहले, like I actually saw like her Instagram account before I watched Fairytale, right? And I was like, oh, interesting choice, right? Like for Haya, for she did amazingly. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like I was so
Also,
impressed.
she has the features now, like like she's
Yes,
fair, she has the big
हाँ,
eyes, the round face, the long hair,
yes,
like she has that very
exactly.
angelic kind of look
Hmm.
to her. She fits into that role very well. Also, like her clothes, just because they're like क्या कहते हैं pastels and like like muted, doesn't mean they're not like she doesn't like there are moments in the show where she just looks beautiful.
Huh.
Like like there are days when I was like taken aback by how nice Haya looks on a scene.
Everything, like everything is like, very like perfect in a
But you can
non-manufactured way.
Yeah, but you can sense the difference in Haya's style and you can sense the difference in Umid's style. Like I can do a whole
Yeah,
episode
for
on like
sure.
just clothes in the show.
Yeah,
Like very deliberately done. There also like is actual effort to make sure when Farjad and Umid are in a scene, their clothes
yeah,
complement each other.
yeah. I
You
love
know,
that. वैसे that is
like
such a nice detail,
when you're
honestly.
rewatching the scene, जब वो उसके मतलब होटल में होता है, उसके पैर पे वो दरवाजा बंद कर देता है,
Hmm.
she's hopping around. The blue that he's wearing goes so well with the green that
With the
she's
green
wearing.
she's wearing, and
Yeah,
like that the car scene where he's wearing white and she's wearing like this very pretty olive green.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like, पता है उसकी framing भी ऐसी हुई है. मैं whenever I go back to that scene, I'm always like taken back. The framing is like, the gate and the brick wall and the
yeah,
green clothes, and then shift to the car and the white. It's all, it goes together so well. Nothing clashes. Nothing
yeah.
like hurts your eyes.
Yeah, I mean the lockup episode is the obvious kind of example of this, right?
Obviously,
Like
yeah.
there's a deliberate kind of
Hmm.
choice to make Farjad wear a kala shalwar kameez while she's wearing this very poppy orange reddish
Hmm.
shirt.
Yeah.
So that when he takes her home in that car, they look like a young couple.
Yeah.
It gives a very domestic feel.
And
Especially
like,
because जाके वो पूरा
and
दमाद वाला ड्रामा करना था.
huh, and like they always like make a very smart choice, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a very smart choice because like they even take, it's not even just Fajad and Meet, it's also their surroundings that they're
Mhm.
taking into account, which is amazing. Like that one scene, like I've like gushed about this so many times, like on Twitter and everything as well. But that one scene where like वो जो जबरदस्ती नहीं कहते ऐसे care कहते वाला scene, they know that they've made an artistically beautiful choice, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, his like neutral gray checkered suit and her
Yeah.
poppy clothing
Yeah.
and like the green background, and they're so aware of it. Like that's why I give them props, right? This was not a fluke. The reason I know this is because they keep zooming out for no reason,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no reason except that you get a beautifully artistic shot.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
मैंने literally screenshot करके वो scene रखा हुआ है क्योंकि वो इतना खूबसूरत shot है with like the greens and her poppy like clothes and his very neutral kind of thing. Like it's amazing. Like I love it.
Yeah. And also it's a fun scene because that's also the vibe of the scene. They're in
Yes,
conflict.
yes,
They're
yes.
fighting.
Huh,
They're
it's not a
fighting.
complimentary thing, but it's a contrasting thing.
They're fighting. And when it's happening inside, when Farjad is angry, it's
Hmm.
happening inside the room.
Yeah,
And they step out into the war and she's like, "आप बदतमीजी कर रहा है ना, आप बदतमीजी कर रहा है ना,
yeah,
मैं जा रही हूँ."
yeah.
She gets mad, and then when he steps in front of her, that like
Hmm.
जो वो जा रही होती है and he steps in front of her and he's calming her down. The
Yeah,
neutrals on him with the poppy on her,
yeah.
with like the
It
greens in
looks
the background,
really yes.
it adds to like the dynamic of the relationship in this scene.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
and this is why, and like, since we're like discussing this again, I will say this again. This is why I am so mad that this show does not get the creative
Yeah.
compliments it deserves, the artistic choices, the production, the direction, everything.
Because
Like
that's deliberate.
yeah,
Because जब वो when post AK scene happens when Farjad hasn't slept the entire night, which we know he hasn't. Right? The deliberate attempt is to make them wear matching colors.
yes. Hmm.
They're on the same team right now.
Yeah,
We want the same thing.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
wearing the same color. They're in conflict.
yeah.
You know, she's headstrong. He's the
Hmm.
calming effect.
Yeah.
He's wearing a neutral color. She's wearing like this multicolored kind of like
Yeah.
poppy color because they're
And like the jail scene, right? Like he's wearing the like sort of black, mature, sensible kind of thing, and
small.
her the crazy wife
Yeah, the
is
crazy
like
vibe.
in like bright colors, and it's so nice. Like it works so well in their scene.
Yeah,
Even Haya and Sameer, right? Like on each side of her are not
yeah,
as poppy as Umid because Umid needs to
yeah,
stand out.
yeah, yeah. And like that scene where she confronts him,
Yeah.
phone dikha ke ye kya hai,
Yes.
you know, like with her hair tied back, her face so fresh, like he's looking like someone who's just come home from work, he's showered, he's probably worn like his sweatshirt, he's sitting there. Both of them look like really, really like this is a night time, they're at home, they're comfortable, but they look so good in that scene. Like they look so pretty in that scene. And not
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
they have like exceptionally great faces or whatever. Like sure, they're good looking people, but because they're styled in a way where they look like
They're
young people
styled in a
who are
way that,
fresh.
and पता है, young people ना, like I will die on this hill, but young people अच्छे लगते हैं, प्यारे लगते हैं भाई, सारे young लोग प्यारे लगते हैं,
Yeah,
and it's the styling that really pops for
yeah.
younger people, ठीक है, and that's what they do for both of these.
Because
It's like
see,
everything is optimal.
Mimi also has like a distinct style.
Yes.
Mimi is not the same as Haya and Umeed.
Yes.
Mimi is rich.
Hmm.
When she
Yeah.
dresses, even when she's understated, even when she's at home, even when she's wearing her sweaters and her pants, you know, she looks rich.
Yeah.
But she doesn't look rich the way Reena looks rich.
Or her mom.
Or her mom looks rich.
Yeah.
You know? She looks rich in a way कि ये उम्मीद की दोस्त है. She's rich लेकिन
Funnily
ये
enough,
उम्मीद
वैसे Reena and her mom and his mom, they
की
dress
dress.
alike, which is very interesting because it
Because
shows
she
that,
wants someone from
exactly,
Punjab who fits this mold.
exactly. Well, like basically her mom's like, she tries to make Umeed like her, it
Yeah.
doesn't work, right?
Reena
And
tries
she
to make her
says this
secretary later.
exactly, and like, but they both fail to be
Yeah.
like her, right?
Yeah.
The secretary is too timid, Umeed is too headstrong, right? She
Yeah.
needs someone who's just like her. But
Yeah.
and like it's very interesting because Reena wears these like really like accessories that are very loud,
Mm-hmm.
right? And very much.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to me because like her personality is like otherwise very, solid and stuff, karke,
Yeah.
but she has this kind of like tastelessness to her in the things she
Mm-hmm.
says. And like, the Ahojan scene where she's being like rude and, Farjad like is like, behave yourself, Reena.
Yeah.
And like is tarah ki cheezein sort of like stick out, right? Like
This
this
is what I'm
person
saying,
isn't
right?
the
Like,
mature, elegant person they want to be.
yeah. Like this is what it's like dressing someone based on their personality and dressing someone based on a trope.
Yes,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
Like I mean, there are scenes obviously I like in Humsafar. I'm not hating on that show unnecessarily. But that scene where like क्या कहते हैं, they go to a party whatever and like like Khirat comes home and she's like, was I overdressed? Which she was.
Hmm.
Which she was. Okay. Was I overdressed? And he's like, तुम सबकी बातें क्यों सुनती हो? तुम जैसी हो, तुम वैसी खूबसूरत हो, लाडीड़ा. And there was like this clear attempt to say, oh, she's different. And literally everyone here is dressed in the same way.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
Like that's not how the world works, right? Like that's not
Yeah.
how things are
Like Sarah's personality never reflects in her clothes beyond the fact that she's a bad
at
woman,
all.
so she dresses in jeans. Yeah. And that's a good woman, so she dresses in a chadar.
Actually, the thing is, actually, this was a specific like era of dramas
Yeah.
where all the Sarah type leads wore the same clothes. It
Yeah.
was these
Yeah.
extremely skinny
No, it
jeans
was
and
also
like
the
the
problem.
t-shirt. It wasn't even
Yeah.
like like you can make, if you want to make someone dress very modern, ठीक है, there are very pretty ways to do it. भाई
Yeah.
मुझे पता है ना, मैं तो बहुत कोशिश like मेरा बस चलता मैं भी कर लेती, ठीक है, लेकिन there are ways to look very aesthetic, very pretty, but that was not like, it was meant to be jarring. It was meant to be like evil person
Bad
who's
woman.
like, yes,
Which is like I mean they also identify Reena as that, right? But they
yes,
don't identify Reena
but
as like
they
that person
don't.
giving her bad clothes.
Exactly, exactly. And
They
it's not
identify
like
Reena as that person as like the person trying too hard to be something she's not.
like she's a tasteless kind of, like she
Yeah.
wants to be classy, but her behavior doesn't reflect that way,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like that's how they perceive her. Like even, and she's never perfect. And it's like even when she's sitting in the lounge and they're all discussing and she's like, आप लोग उस लड़की की बातें कर करके मुझे बोर कर रहे. No one takes her seriously. Even
Yeah.
Rajat's mom doesn't take her seriously in that moment. Like, this is not a woman who's like the big bad who's going to move everyone around like chess pieces. This is just another obstacle in their,
Yeah. Yeah.
eventual course of romance.
So everyone dresses the way they dress based on their personality and not based on
Yeah.
like how you want them to you want the
Exactly,
audience to
exactly. They're not playing into like assumptions.
yeah. So naturally they look like 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like, rich girl means, same clothes, all of them are wearing the same clothes, ठीक है. Not so rich girl
Mimi was
means
wearing very different clothes.
Mimi, like I said this before as well, Mimi dresses like a richer Haya.
Yeah.
Like if Haya had more money, that's how Haya would dress.
Yeah. Because Mimi and Haya are actually kind of similar in their personalities. Mimi
Yeah.
is just more
अभी
confident because the
मैं
man
like,
in her house isn't
yeah.
much of
Exactly. अच्छा, अभी like because like I have no other life. अभी जो हमारा like थोड़ा सा break आया था ना, I was watching another episode of Fairytale again. Uh, and like जो painting वाला scene है ना, Mimi comes in and she's wearing like this kurta that's like a very plain white and blue सा kurta and like उसके बाल थोड़े आगे किए हुए and she looks very similar to Haya but not the
Yeah.
same. Like there's
Yeah.
no dupatta, ठीक है, there is no like sort of like the clothes are a bit more well made, well tailored और इस तरह
Yeah.
करके it's a very subtle differences, the lace and everything. But at the end of the day, it's very similar to Haya, way more similar to Haya than her own mom or Umeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a personality dressing kind of thing.
It's a personality reference, right?